Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Hands on SAP Dev with QMacro. That's me, DJ. Yeah, I'm really pleased that I've got that phrase down pat now. It's only taken me a year and a half to sort of come up with a phrase that finally rolls off the tongue. Please excuse me for blowing my nose and sounding a bit bunged up. Quite bad hay fever today. I don't know why. It's been raining all night, and it was raining on my run this morning. I was hoping it would dampen it down, but clearly not. Maybe it's excitement, but I've also got the door open to help the cooling of the MacBook Pro as I broadcast this. So yeah, welcome on board. It's Friday. I'm quite glad it's Friday. I'm really tired. I think a lot of people who took part in SAP Online Track are going to be probably feeling the same way. It's been an awesome week. And weekend and week. So yeah, but I'm glad it's Friday. So good morning, Napit, Rahul. Good morning, Helmut. Moin to Hanover. Chesh, good morning. Leo, good morning. Tim, good morning over in Chorlton. In fact, when I say good morning to you, Tim, I always look over there because Chorlton is sort of that way from me. Rahul, good morning. Regards to Spain as well. And Volker, morgen. Andrew, good morning. Christian, good morning. I don't know how I pronounced Christian slightly more German than usual. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, here's my coffee. I'm feeling in quite a reflective mood today. Or well, I don't know whether it's a reflective mood or a tired mood. Sebastiano, hey, welcome to your first Hands on SAP Dev live. Welcome. So everybody say hello to Sebastiano. You've been watching them. You've been watching some of the catch-ups. That's great. So there we go. Hey, Robertino, howdy, long-time member of the SAP Hands on SAP Dev clan family. Robertino, welcome and howdy. So yeah, glad it's Friday. I've got my coffee. Talking of coffee, inspired by Gregor, who I've not seen yet. Hey, Philip, good morning. Philip, good morning to you. Inspired by Gregor, who sent me some coffee very, very kindly all the way from Bavaria a few weeks ago now when I sort of run out. I sent Gregor some coffee back, and I've been looking, I wanted to get the address of the local roasters down the road in Ancoats in Manchester. But while looking, I found another coffee roaster, like really local to me. I was like, what are you doing there? Heart and Graft. So this is the coffee I'm drinking right now. It's amazing. It's just a little bit funky. It's just absolutely amazing. So what I thought I'd do, sort of in honor of Gregor, is maybe start off a little domino chain of coffee sharing. Hey, thanks for saying welcome, Robertino. What a wonderful family we have here. So start a sort of coffee sharing chain. So the idea is I'll send some coffee, like one of these 250 gram bags of freshly ground coffee, coffee beans, to somebody, and then they will send, the same sort of thing from a local roaster local to them, maybe, or one of their favorite coffees to another person in the live stream family. So if anybody, Jeremy, good morning. Good morning. Not seen you for a while. So if anybody wants to kick this off with me, let me know in the chat right now, and then later you can send me your mailing address, and I'll mail you one of these. In fact, I'll mail you this particular one, this Miriam Perez Natural, with notes of mulled wine, rum and raisins, and candied orange. Absolutely amazing roastery and amazing coffee as well. So let me know. The first person to put it in the chat there, I'll send you, and then you've got to send some coffee to the next person. We'll do it next, each time. So there we go. How about that? Servus, Gregor, in fact, you've just missed a little coffee section. We're going to do a sort of coffee chain. Well, it might not work. Good morning, Shweta. Good morning. Yes, we'll do a tea round as well, Christian. I am from the UK. I do like tea as well, but I do like coffee. So I thought we'll do coffee first, and then maybe I'll do a tea one for the tea drinkers as well. When it comes to tea, I'm quite sort of normal and boring. I just drink, normal, what we call in the UK, builder's tea, just like normal tea bags from PG or, Tetley or something. I'm not really a... Okay, Andrew. Well, in fact, thank you for volunteering. So, you know what, Andrew? I thought you might be the person to put your hand up. So that's awesome. What an awesome chap you are. I think the person sending it chooses their favorite. Chooses. I will send, for example, this one here to you because I think this is awesome. Unless there's like whoa, I really don't like X or I really don't like this style. We'll just take it from there. So, Andrew, I think I have your address already, actually. I'll just check and I'll ping you if I haven't got it. So I'll send you and then you can send the next person. Robert Dino, can we create a CAP project which automates this chain? Yeah, I think that'd be quite cool. Yeah, I think that would be quite cool. But let's start it off, in the real world, and I'll mail one of these. In fact, I'll go down and order some more of this from Heart and Graft local roastery today. Perfect. And by the way, talking of sending things and mailing addresses, I've still got loads of stickers. If anybody wants the awesome stickers, just send me your mailing address in a Twitter DM. That's probably the easiest thing, as usual. And I will be more than happy to send you some stickers. So there we go. Are you talking about tea or fruit and herb tea? Yeah, exactly. Is fruit and herb tea actual tea? Yeah, I suppose it is. But yeah. Anyway. So there we go. Lovely. Oh, you're still enjoying the Casa Loma from Pat Coffee that you've got from DJ? Got from me. Also, yes, Pat Coffee is also like a mail order thing that I've been using for a long time. In fact, there's one coming tomorrow. But the Heart and Graft is especially super local to me, hyper local. A CAP project with remote services. Andrew, what a link, what a Channel 4 link, as we say here in the UK. That's fantastic. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing starting today, but not trying to rush through and get to the end. We're going to start looking at connecting to and consuming remote services in CAP. It's a long time since I've sort of played around with CAP. So yeah, that's what I want to get onto, but in the style that we're used to as well. In the style that we're used to, we're going to indulge our curiosities and take our time looking at stuff along the way. And, I was thinking this morning that, when trying to get from A to B, we've gone via X, Y, and Z and, dug deep into, for example, the app router and to OAuth, for example, and out of that was spawned, OAuth at 8 a.m. t-shirt and everything. And I feel as though we're going to sort of start taking a deeper look again, or in a different way, at OData. So I've got some OData things to share with you, first of all. Raul, okay, so yes, so you got you know me on Twitter, so send me your mailing address on Twitter, direct message, obviously, private, and I will send you some, definitely. Perfect, okay, so that's that, the stickers out the way, and the coffee out the way. So Andrew, ping me anyway, Andrew, on Twitter DM to remind me. So the first thing, I'm going to switch to the main screen. The first thing I want to share, there's quite a few things I want to share today. Napit has been doing some awesome JavaScript for ABAPers, live streams and everything. And here is Napit's channel. So if you're not already subscribed, I would definitely recommend you to subscribe to Napit. Really cool little videos, and also there's sort of, when you in the evening, turn on YouTube, you're tired, you don't want to watch an hour-long replay of, watching DJ ramble on about something. You want like a short, succinct thing, and that, these latest things from Napit are awesome. So yeah, check out Napit's channel there. Really good. So that's that. And what else have I got to say? Oh, by the way, there's Heart and Graft. If you're interested, this is the coffee I'm going to be sending, or the coffee roaster I'm going to be sending you, Andrew. They're just literally about 3 miles away from me. There we go. That's that. Oh, by the way, yes. So I've been starting to put together some playlists. There's a ton of material that we collectively have sort of built up over the years, haven't we? And I've started collecting some playlists. So or creating some playlists. So for example, here, building a custom task UI for SAP Cloud Platform Workflow. I've got a 2 playlist episode there. I've got a 9 video playlist deep dive on workflow service on Cloud Foundry. I've got a deep dive playlist on OAuth 2. So yeah, if you fancy sort of binging or deep diving, and also that sort of custom task UI thing that we did, the last 2 plus a previous 3, I put those together in a playlist. So let me know in the chat whether you find these sorts of things useful. You know, well, we're now on episode what, 72, so there's a ton of material that I forget we have. So yeah, if playlists are useful, let me know. By the way, obviously that's a private playlist, all the things I like. Oh my goodness me, the PTP11 emulator. Maybe we'll talk about that another time. It's a PyDP11. So there's the playlist link, and it reminds me actually to remind you. On Wednesday we had an extracurricular. Let me pause that. Or one of these regular now. I'm trying to get it regular every other Wednesday, fortnightly, in the afternoons. I have a guest on. If somebody wants to come on, for example, Marius in this case. So Marius did an awesome. I think a lot of you were there. Marius, thanks, Christian, for the feedback. Yeah, I hope they were helpful. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just overwhelming the amount of material that we have together. Yeah, I think the playlists. I find playlists myself helpful. So Marius came on Wednesday and he talked about some Flex services with UI5. It was really, really interesting. So check that out from Marius. I'll put that in there. And also, we did a live stream on Monday, didn't we? An update to the current SAP Community Coding Challenge. So here's a blog post that I wrote last week, and in that blog post, actually, there's a link down there to the live stream that I did. So check out the live stream as well. On Monday, I'll be publishing a blog post with all the participants, all the people who took part. They'll be getting badges, in the same way as we got badges for the participants of the first Community Code Challenge. And I'll also be announcing the finalists in a Coffee Corner Q&A, and we'll do that voting thing as well. So if you're interested in that, check out the recording of the live stream there. Building applications with this. So here we go. Where I wanted to start, really, or why I wanted to start looking at what we were going to start looking at today, was because I took part. I participated in this course, Building Applications with SAP Cloud Platform. With SAP Cloud Application Programming Model. This coffee is really starting to kick in now. So there's the course, CP7, as we say in the trade. Really, really good course. And in fact, let me know if you've done this course. Ping us on the chat here, and let me know if you've done the course and what you thought about it. And one of the things in the course, in the learnings, in week 4 actually, was importing service definitions and then obviously consuming those service definitions. So I want to work our way through over the next few weeks. I want to work our way through what was covered here. An awesome chat. All the folks who created the content and presented the content here on the course. They're brilliant. This particular person here, David, who did this one, importing service definitions, and also the connecting to remote services, David Kunz this is, and also consuming and emitting events. He also helped me on my prep for when I did the Code Along with Max and DJ for SAP Online Track with the enterprise messaging and stuff. If you're interested in seeing more enterprise messaging stuff, what I did there with Max, then let me know, and maybe we'll do that next as a next subject in the Hands-on SAP Dev. Anyway, I thought what David showed was super fascinating, and it sort of fits in with the sort of stuff that we know already, right? Thank you. Yes. Oh, so Raul, Tim, Robertinho, Helmut, Leo. Yeah, it was a really good course. I thought it was a really good course. And I will endeavor to send that feedback that you just typed in the chat there to the folks in the OpenSAP team and also the presenters. I'm sure they will be happy to hear that. But I thought it was an awesome course. Yeah. One of the things is that they can only cover only scratch the surface of many things. So I want to dig in, as we do here. Yeah, exactly. Week 4 could well have been much longer. The content for week 4, the topics, that could be a course in itself, right? And of course, OpenSAP, you have to draw the line somewhere. Deep enough, but not too deep that it lasts for months. So yeah, that's what I want to look at. And so I started thinking about, okay, well, what sort of thing do we need to know about, and what sort of subjects? And where I ended up? I ended up playing around with literally this first one, this importing service definitions. In fact, if I just look at the presentation, I'm not going to play the video, only because it might stress my machine out too much. Let's just open that up and remind ourselves of, there we go. Yes, so this is all about, for those of you who didn't do the course, having an external service definition and extracting those definitions from an OData. So basically consuming and bringing in an external service in the form of, that external service is an OData service. And the way that David demoed this in this particular week 4, unit 1, was by going to the SAP API Business Hub and having a look for the business partner thing. So we'll just have a look at that briefly as well, just remind ourselves, get our brains back in gear. But I would like to do something maybe, well, I was going to say maybe simpler, but also slightly, left field. I'm not sure how you would translate that into other languages, but, slightly sort of, not SAP-like. So I want to use Northwind. Okay, because we're all familiar with Northwind, but it also allows us to sort of explore the detail without getting too bogged down with the complexities of, a regular S4HANA OData API, which of course, almost like, by a requirement, by definition, is going to be more complex than, the nice simple OData service from Northwind. They linked a lot of extra info. Yes, they did. Yeah. So yeah, that was really good in this course, Rob Dino. They did send links to lots of different bits and pieces. By the way, actually no, let's not go there right now. So and it also says here the OData protocol can be version 2 or version 4, right? Which got me thinking as well, because recently, I'm just going to skip the vocab for a second. Recently, I saw there was an announcement that I saw via Ralph Handel, who is, to me, Mr. OData. Ralph works at SAP, and he's on the committee, on the Oasis committee for OData. Basically, he's got OData going through his veins. And he's done a lot of work as well for our OData vocabularies, which are now, because they used to be, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but they used to be in a wiki, on a wiki page on the SAP community, but they've been moved now to, let's just get that there, they've been moved now to GitHub, which I think is much better. So there's a ton of vocabularies, and Ralph sent an email to various people recently, just basically reminding us or telling us that version 4.01 of OData, of the OData protocol standard, is now an Oasis standard. Okay. Now, I think I might have mentioned this before, but in the same way that, it's important to spend a little bit of time, a little bit more time than you might think on, OAuth or the app router, because they're so important. Yes, the move. Okay, it was 6 months ago now. Yes, thanks, Gregor. It's so much better now. I find it's important to understand how these standards documents work. I don't know about you. Let me know in the comments. But I don't know about you. But when I look at these standards documents, or when I used to look at them, it's like, oh my God, there's so much stuff. It's like this links to this, and this links to this, and this is a part of the protocol. And this is the part of the documentation. This is the blah, 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 and this version, previous version, latest version, and they're all sort of slightly different. So what I did, and if we look here, have I got a link here? The OData, yeah, here we go. So for example, we've got the OData version 4.01 part 1 protocol, Oasis standard, 23rd of April 2020. So it's very new, and it's an Oasis standard now. What does that mean? It means it's not like, a pre-standard. It's not a call for papers. It's not a draft. So I started digging into this and trying to figure out how the heck does this work. And it's similar to the way that the World Wide Web Consortium manages its documents, which is the way that it should be on the web. You have different versions. You have a canonical sort of top level, almost like a symbolic link, the latest stage here. So we got OData V4.01, OData V4.01 part 1 protocol.html. That actually is this one that we're looking at here, but that actually is, let's call it a symbolic link to this thing here, which is this stage, which is the actual thing, OS, right, which is an Oasis standard. If we look at that one there, click on that one, it's the same document, but a different URL, right? It's the definitive one. And then if we look down here, we can see the links to all the other things. And there's, what are the previous versions? How has it changed? And so what I did was I started to put together, just for myself, first of all, but I think it might be useful to you as well, if you're, in the same way inclined as I am. I've just published this, like, today. I shared it rather, I had it as a markdown document in a shared folder on Google for a bit. But basically, I've worked out how to read and navigate all these documents. So we've got these abbreviations. CN is committee note, CS is a committee specification, OS is an Oasis standard, right? That's what we just saw. COS is a candidate Oasis standard, so it's a potential Oasis standard, and hopefully it will be an Oasis standard. And you can see here at this is basically a URL breakdown. These are the paths here, so /OData /V401, for example, and this is all the progression of all the 401 work that's been going on since 2016. So basically 401, not just 40, but there's 40, but 401 has been going on since 2013, right? But 401, maybe I need to reformat this slightly so it just fits into the thing, has been going on since 2016, and it's now become a standard, 23rd of April. So the sort of canonical document without any CS or COS or CS or CSPRD, for example, the public review draft, that's this one that we've just been looking at, and that actually points to this one with the OS part in there, okay? So that's how it all fits together. So 23rd of April there. And of course, this document only describes the protocol, and there's other parts to the Oasis OData standard, including, for example, the URL conventions, which is another document, as in part 2. So that's also a document that's now published on the 23rd of April, and there's previous versions here that were candidate Oasis standards, and also CS, a committee specification, and so on. So let me know if this is useful, if it's helpful to you to understand how this all works, because there are some fairly fundamentally important, I think, differences between OData V2 and OData V4. And yes, I think most of the stuff that we look at when we go to the API business, so let's do that right now, actually, api.sap.com. And I think what, SAP S4 HANA Cloud, that's the one that David looked at in the course. Look at Business Partner, that's the one there, Business Partner. This is the one. Good morning, Max. Good morning, Max. Nice to have you on board. Not sure if DJ's video is, yes. So it's, thanks for checking. That is, I think that's intentional, basically. It's supposed to be a square now, because when I have sort of the screen capture, which is a 720p screen capture, sometimes, it's from this machine, this screen over here, which is I'm not using, and there's a bit of a border, so I'm trying to get my face off the screen. But this one, I've redone it now, so I'm capturing just a part of this 4K screen instead. Seems to be working okay now. So yeah, there we go. So there we go. So this is what we saw, and when we look at the details, we'll see it must say somewhere. And if it doesn't, we can have a look inside. We can see that it should be an OData V2 somewhere. Anyway, but we'll download the specification in EDMX. Log on. Okay. Let's log on to download specification. And we've logged on. Okay, so let's just open that. Choose application. Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll bring this up into here and copy desktop API business partner.edmx to here, and let's have a look at it. Okay, so we've got here an OData metadata document, an EDMX document, and we can see probably somewhere, in fact, well, there's lots of references here to V2, but that's version 2 of that particular thing there. Where was it? EDMX version 1. There is somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Well, why don't we have a look shortly at a North. In fact, let's have a look at a Northwind one now. Let's remind ourselves of what the Northwind one looks like. Northwind V4. There we go. V4. Metadata. Let's familiarize ourselves with this. There we go. Oh, it's on the EDMX version 4. Okay, EDMX version 4. And this one, where was it? This one, EDMX version 1. Okay, so that didn't properly reflect the OData version. This is OData V2. Is there a 2.0 anywhere? Oh, data service version. That's right. The V2. Yeah, EDMX didn't originally reflect the OData version, but in the data services part, okay, you've got all this namespace inclusion here, which is a little bit over the top. We don't normally see that in simpler OData services, like for example Northwind. Yes, thank you, Elmer. Data service version. I had a slight brain lapse there. Data service version, which is part of the M. Where is it? Data service, part of the M namespace, and the M namespace is, there we go, XML, NSM, schema, Microsoft.com, blah, 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 metadata. Okay, so the data service version of this, as in the OData version of this, is version 2. But in the CP7 course, it said, oh, you can import OData V2 or OData V4. And I started looking at some of the differences between OData V2 and OData V4. And one of the differences that we should really be aware of, and maybe let me know if you were already aware, already explicitly, consciously aware of this, and we're sort of thinking about this all the time. I'd forgotten about this, but if we'll have a look, for example, at V2, we will see, for example, that in the relationship between, here we go, category. Where's category? There we go, category. There's category, and we have a navigation property to products. So a given category can have multiple products in it, right? So beverages, I think, is a category. In fact, let's have a look. Categories. Oh yeah, horrible. Format equals JSON. There we go. So we've got the categories, beverages, and then the categories have products, one or more products. Results, how many results have we got? We've got 12 products, okay? So there's a one-to-many relationship defined there. So let's go back to the metadata, and we will see that that relationship is defined here. Navigation property, name product, relationship, Northwind model, which is the namespace, the Northwind model there. There's the namespace, Northwind model. .fk, I can't think what FK stands for. I can't remember. It's been a long week. But anyway, it doesn't matter, because basically this relationship, if we have a look for this, would like to use V4 more, but UI5 is holding me back. Leo, that's harsh, but probably fair. Yeah, I mean, there's a way to go. But I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there, right? How many folks are using V4 on a day-to-day basis, by the way? Let me know. But also, let's have a look at this. So this is a relationship from role categories to role products. So if we have a look at this, where is this? There's another use of that relationship. And here is that relationship. Foreign key. Yes, foreign key. Thank you. Foreign key. Good. See, this is why I love HandsOnSAPDev, because you folks are awesome. Exactly. Foreign key, products, categories. I could pretend I knew that and I was just testing you, but I'd completely forgotten. Well, not forgotten. I mean, it just wasn't in my brain. I don't know. That's what's going on. We've got an association. Okay, so in the V2 world, we're thinking about associations all the time, and we have different roles, different endpoints. And that's where we define the multiplicity. So one, this particular product categories thing here, one particular category goes to multiple products. Okay, that's effectively what it is. Now, if we have a look at the same metadata file, or at the metadata file for the same service effectively in V4, let's have a look. V4, we will see that the navigation property looks different. Now, navigation property is not defined via a relationship anymore. There's not even a relationship attribute on this navigation property element itself. Instead, we have what's called, I think a collection is called a primitive type in OData V4. And basically, it's, we can see as humans what that actually means. We can see that that is a collection of Northwind model, which is, again, the namespace there, product, which is, again, the product. So entity type, well, oh, by the way, entity type, let's go to the top again, entity type. Oh, yeah, okay, so we still get singular entity type names, so category in the singular, and then the entity sets are plural. And we have here a collection of Northwind model.product, which, of course, then is, further down here. Where's product? Product. And we don't, there we go, there's product there. And we don't need an association. So I thought that was interesting and useful to know. And there are many more things in OData that I want to explore with you. If you permit me, not today, but if you permit me, I would love to dig in even more. I think I did intend to do this a while ago, but then we got distracted on something else. Dig in even more to the beautiful way that in the transition from OData V2 to OData V4, they really sorted out what I would call the orthogonal parts of OData, which are the functions. What they call the service. They used to be called service somethings as well. What's happening with my brain? OData V2 had these service something or others, which were basically functions, function imports. They used to be called service something as well. Anyway, they had function imports, which were basically like remote procedure calls. It's like, whoa, what's that? But actually now it's almost like they've embraced the benefits of those and sort of made them first-class citizens. Maybe they were first-class citizens anyway in V2, but I didn't see them as that in V4. So we have actions and functions, and there are different categorizations of these two things. An action can be bound, it can be not bound, a function can be bound, it can be not bound, and there are rules to say, well, this type of thing should always return data, this type of thing can never have side effects, and so on. So it's a lot clearer. Okay, so Nabi, yes sir, why not more OData? Okay, great, that's good. Thank you, Helmut. I was sort of slightly worried this morning that if I threw more OData potential at you, like, oh god, no, not more OData. But it's just like OAuth and other things begin with O, I suppose. It's so important to know, and especially now as we're moving more and more into Fiori Elements world, and the SAP Graph is going to be using some vocabulary as well from an OData perspective. So, I think it's really important. Okay, so why don't we get started and just do some stuff and stop talking. There's nothing else I wanted to share there. OData certification. Oh, yes, I'm going to be using this actually. I've also just made this public. It's, again, just the very beginnings. I'm sick of finding or trying to find CSV files with Northwind, and some are wrong, some have got commas in the wrong places. So I thought I'll start maintaining this. It's not code or anything. It's just data in CSV files. So I'll be using that when we import this Northwind thing. So let's start today on this journey of connecting to a remote service, this Northwind service, which will eventually be connecting through a destination in Cloud Platform, Cloud Foundry, and all that good stuff. But let's start really, really simple by bringing in the Northwind V2 definition. Let's cut it down, maybe cut it down as well. So let's just get out of here and well, actually, CDS init. Let's initialize a new project. CDS init. Let's call it episode 72 proj, and cd into it. But let's do it in code because why not? There's another reason I want to do it in VS Code. I can't remember why, but anyway. There we go. So let's bring that up to there. Let's minimize that. Okay, so let's make that bigger as well. There we go. And I know I'm going to get grief from Max maybe for using VS Code, but we did use it together in an SAP Online Track, and I forgot how good it was. Of course, it's made much better by the fact that I'm using the Vim plugin. For those of you who don't know, what have I got enabled? CDS language support, CSV to table, Dracula theme. I'm not using it anymore anyway. And I've got somewhere Vim emulation. There we go. So and also the language syntax highlighting for Vim script. But that's the one there. Vim extension. So let's bring up a terminal. And so what we've got in here is right now, pretty much an empty project. So if we remember what David did, he brought in an EDMX file and used CDS import to do that. So let's just see what we've got so far. Let's have a look at what we've got. So we've got nothing in app, we've got nothing in DB, we've got nothing in serve. The package.json looks really bare, right? Completely empty. So let's go. Let me grab the OData. Where is it? OData service itself. V2 service. There we go. Right. So curl. There into Northwind EDMX. Okay, that's good. So let's have a look at that. And I think what we should do as well is cut it down a little bit. So we've only got, because we don't want to be messing around with, wading through, acres and acres of XML. The interesting thing with OData V4.01, if you've not spotted it, I'm not sure whether this was available in 4.00. Maybe some folks on the channel can tell me, but with 4.01, you can now have the metadata in JSON. So, it was clinging on, OData was clinging on, has been clinging on to XML for a long time. And, there's a reason for that as well, I suppose. The whole sort of, genealogy of OData goes all the way back to Atom, which was, basically like RSS, okay? And that was in XML. So you can sort of, see where it came from. But anyway, we should theoretically be able to look at OData V4.01 metadatas, if that's a plural word, and see it in JSON, which is pretty awesome. About time too. Anyway, so we've got here category. We'll have categories, products, and suppliers. That's a really easy sort of triple. So let's get rid of entity name, customer demographic, customer employee, order detail, orders, product. Okay, so there's product, and there's a navigation product to products. That's fine. And notice again, this is a V2, so we're using the association-based relationship thing. So products. What we don't want to use is the order details. We just want categories and suppliers. So let's go down to not shipper but supplier. We'll have that. And territory. I think that's it, isn't it? All the way down now to wow, it's loads. This is why I want to get rid of all this stuff. This loads. Ski. Oh, here we go. So this is where we get now. Oh, association. I've gone too far. Association. Entity type. There we go. There's the last of the entity types. Right. So we've got. Let's remind ourselves. I've done this right. Northwind model. We got the category entity type. Okay, let's collapse that. Can we collapse it? Yes, thank you very much. And we've got the product entity type there. Okay, that's fine. And we've got the two navigation properties, category and supplier. Okay, let's collapse that then. And we got the supplier entity type, which has got the navigation properties, just one to the suppliers, which makes sense, right? Sorry, that's the what? Oh, sorry, to the product. I'm thinking, why has the supplier got navigation properties to the supplier? There's a product. Okay, yep, fine. And then we've got there we go. We've got category, product. Did I not product and supplier? There we go. And then we got the associations. Cool. Okay, so let's have a look at the associations. Products and categories, we keep that. Orders, customers, we don't want that one. Employees, no. Orders, employees. Order details, order details, order details, order shippers. Product suppliers, we want that one. What are those beeps? Oh, yeah, Strava. X, product suppliers, customer, no, we don't want that one or that one. Ah, there we go. So there's the associations gone. So we should just have now, let's have a look. We should just have the products categories and also the products suppliers. Product suppliers and products categories. So there's the products categories and there's the product suppliers. Oh, there's a territories. We don't want that territories region there, do we? No, let's have that. Let's get rid of that one. Association. And notice as well, we've got the referential constraints in both of these things here. So, you know, as you would expect, and the multiplicity as well. That's cool. So let's save that just in case I mess things up. We've got this other sort of schema thing here that's in here. We've got the data services, right, which is the only child of the main EDMX sort of root element. And then here we've got two schema definitions, right? We've got schema namespace Northwind model, and we've got this OData web thing here, okay, which is quite interesting. So that sort of also goes away or changes in OData V4. But what we need to pay attention to here is that we've got here basically the entity container, which is all the entity sets. So we've got the categories, fine, customers, employees, order details, products, regions, shippers, suppliers, and then all these things here. And we'll keep the association sets as well, because that sort of helps the associations, products and categories. So I'm doing this as well. Doing this manually now sort of helps us. I'm hoping it helps us sort of, you know, get into our brains what we're really messing about with here, which is this particular OData service. I think it's a really good way of, you know, letting it sort of seep into our brains a little bit as well. So where's the product? There's the product suppliers. There we've got the association set, product categories, product suppliers. That's it. So that's all we need. There we go. So that's much better. So let's save that. And now that should represent a cut down version of our Northwind V2. Okay, so let's save that. Let's go back and now do the first part of what David did in the CP7 course, which was basically to use CDS import, right? CDS import. If we have a look at that, the CDS imports a given source and converts it to CSN, or if you're cool, you say season. Currently, only OData EDMX import is supported. Okay, fine, that's what we're doing here. Without any options, the source is copied to .source. In fact, there's a typo. It should be serve, shouldn't it? Serve external. Ooh, I'll put a little bug report in there, or maybe Max, you could do that as well. I might do that. Anyway, and the season output written next to it. Finally, it will add an entry for the imported service to package.json. CDS requires. So that's exactly what happened in the CP7 course. Okay. So let's do that and examine what actually is happening, and then also we'll have a look at the season. Right. I think it's important to at least be aware of what the season feels like. You know, it's not scary or anything. And this is this canonical sort of generic. Why do I want to say sort of transport layer? You know, it's the fundamental format that is compatible everywhere. You know, everything goes into season and comes out of season. I can't think of the word. Words are failing me today. I don't know why. Anyway, let's do that. Dry. There we go. Dry. Oh, dry as in dry run. Yes, dry. Okay, so I thought it was like do not repeat yourself or something. So CDS import. Now, there's nothing in serve right now. CDS import Northwind EDMX. Okay, that's what happened as well. By the way, I did have a word with David. This is going to change, I think, in the next release. As we know from as HandsOnSAPDev, you don't need and you shouldn't really put the extension, because when you're using a using statement in CDS, you can import stuff from, you know, a .cds file or a .season file. So really, you should leave off the you can and should leave off the extension to make it generic. So we've updated package.json. We've imported the API to serve, not source, external Northwind.csn season. Use it in your CDS one. Okay, fine. Okay, Andrew, have a great day. Have a great afternoon. Have a great weekend. And yeah, send me your address or ping me. No, I've got your address. Ping me on DM on Twitter, and I'll send you a packet of the heart and graft. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. What did the coffee do to my brain? I think it's actually I'm just exhausted. What did the coffee do to my brain? I don't know, Robbie Dino. I wish I knew. See, yeah, I won't ramble on, but I do think I'm going to do a video of my morning coffee routine anyway, if anybody would be interested, using my Lapavoni lever machine and the roast and the beans and everything. I super loved Tom's running video, Tom Young's running video. So, you know, like what I do in the morning. So that file has now disappeared from, let's make that a little bit bigger. It's now disappeared from where it was, and it's now been put inside serve external. Northwind EDMX says the file as we had before, but now we've also got this season file. So let's have a quick look at what that looks like. Let's just get rid of that. There we go. So I've got no season syntax highlighting. I did see there is an extension by somebody in the SAP community. I've not tried it yet. That does what I think is syntax highlighting for season definition files. A coffee vlog. Yes, it'll only be one thing, but yeah, I might do I need to get one of those sort of crocodile, whatever you call a monkey clamp things for my phone, so I can video myself doing the coffee or video the coffee itself. Especially as now I've got a naked portafilter or a bottomless portafilter. It's got beautiful coffee coming out. Anyway, some water now as well. Jeremy, coffee deep dive. Yes, actually, yeah, deep dive into coffee routine. Yes, I think there's so many possibilities. But anyway, let's have a quick look at what we've got here. We've got this definition. Northwind is a kind of service, so we can already see that this is sort of, you know, this is more CDS-like or CAP-like, let's call it, because we've got this sort of this property kind, which you've seen before in the package.json. We've got the Northwind.categories, okay, so let's collapse that. We've got the Northwind.products, and we've got the Northwind.suppliers, okay, and that's it. In terms of what has happened with the incoming OData V2, there's no explicit representation of the associations or the association sets or even the entity sets. We've just got the types, the entity types here. So let's have a look at one. Northwind categories. It's an entity, and it's got basically a number of elements: category ID and category name and description and picture, and then it's got also products, okay, which is cool. Category ID, all the first four are fairly sort of, you know, standard. That's an integer, and it's also a key. I just love the season. You know, when you stare at the season, you know, season is sort of something in my brain. I've been thinking, oh, I don't want to look at the season. It's like, you know, internal code. It's like, you know, some sort of bytecode style, you know, impossible to look at thing. But when you look at it, it's actually, you know, has a beauty all of its own, right? So this category name is a string, and we've got a description. Let's skip over there. And now we go down here and have a look at products, which we know is a navigation property in the OData V2 source. And this becomes an association, just like we'd write in CDS, products association to products, to many products. Cardinality, max asterisk, so 0 or more. On, and then we have the referential constraint that was defined in the association, in the OData. So there's the original Northwind that's been deleted from that thing there, but let's have a look at it here as well. Let's look at the referential constraint. Where is it? There we go. So this is the products categories thing here. So we've got the two different roles, categories and products, two different endpoints, right? There's the multiplicity. So basically, the category ID is the thing that sort of joins this referential constraint, or joins the two things together inside this referential constraint between the principal entity and the dependent entity. So this is going from categories to products, for example. And we see that then, where's the, oh, I didn't double click here. Double click on it, it stays there, right? And we see that here. Okay, so it's really nice, right? That's what's happened in the background. Now, we're going to do nothing else. Well, of course, it's also removed that thing. We're going to do nothing else now apart from CDS watch. Let's just start it up, okay? And let's see what happens. So we can see, and this is what David did as well. This is nothing new for the people who've done the course, but I do think it's, at least for my poor brain, my small brain, it's helpful to go over this and just stare at all the things as they go past. So this is using, we've not looked at CDS, this sort of default dot file, a CDS services file, so we'll maybe get an opportunity to dig into that as well. We know by now that, of course, with these later, more recent versions of CDS or CAP, Node.js, we get an in-memory SQLite database already. And notice as well, we haven't done any CDS, npm install, so we're not running the CDS command locally. It's from the globally installed thing, which is fine. In fact, if I say which CDS, we can see it's in my NVM, my Node version manager version of Node 12.6, and it's there, right? There's nothing. There's no package.json, right? We've not installed anything. So let's just do that again and have a look. We're connected to SQLite database, and we've deployed to the SQLite in memory, and it's mocking Northwind, right? Now, why is it mocking Northwind? Well, basically, what we've also not yet looked at is package.json, right? And what it's added, what I meant to do is do a Git tracking of this so we can see the changes, right? But that's fine. We'll do that in a minute. But what it's added, as it said it would actually, or as it said it did, is added this section here, okay? And it's basically saying here are the CDS specific configuration parameters, and there's a really cool section in the CAP documentation. Maybe somebody can post a link to it if they know what it is I'm referring to, which is this sort of, in the same way that CSS, cascading style sheets, has this hierarchy of, what bits override what bits. There's a beautiful sort of ballet of how these variables are, bubbled up from, the very fundamentals and finally overridden by, for example, environmental variables specified on the command line, like debug, for example, or like, whatever, port. Anyway, so we've got this sort of configuration here. CDS requires Northwind, and remember and this is nice from using VS Code. We got all the goodness, and you're using the language server protocol, of course. We get this help thing, which I think David emphasized, or somebody emphasized somewhere. Basically, the way you see DB here or serve, those are just sort of static names that don't relate to, for example, this is a database. It could be banana, right? So this could be anything. Northwind, it's just been taken from the name of the file. What type of thing is being required? It's an OData type of thing. And where is the model? It's in serve external Northwind, which is that thing there, okay? Now, because we've got that in there, when we start it up, we get, let's bring this up here, we get for nothing, okay, we've done nothing, we get these things here. We get the metadata, and we can see the metadata is the, the cut down version of our OData V2 Northwind, which is nice. Also shows me that I didn't make any stupid typos, right? We'll come back to that in a second. What we also get, of course, is the standard thing that you get out of the box with CAP, which is a link to each of the entity sets, categories, no categories, products, no products, suppliers, no suppliers yet. But did you notice something? And I suppose we could, if we thought about this, we'd sort of know this was, coming down the line to us anyway. But I think that one of the beautiful things to sort of reflect on, God, it's 5 to 9. One of the beautiful things to reflect on right now is we've taken, where is it? We've taken a cut down version of, but nevertheless the same, a V2 OData service with, for example, relationships expressed by means of associations. And what we get when we import that into CAP and expose that, or have it automatically exposed, what do we get? Do we get a V2? No, we get a V4. And there's a sort of like a purity to that I think really appeals to me. And why can we see it's V4? Well, basically, there, version 4. I don't think if I could type. What is wrong with my fingers? Data service version. Data service version is what we looked at before, right? Did we talk about data service version before? Because it's been a long time. So data service version has gone, in V4. But we can tell it's V4 because of this here. And we can also tell it's V4 because the relationship between categories and products, for example, categories, there's the entity type. There is a navigation property. We don't have a relationship attribute. We've got this new OData V4 attribute collection of Northwind.products. In fact, let's have a quick look to see if we can see any evidence of that in our Northwind season. Well, it's sort of indirect evidence, as in, because products is an association and it's a cardinality max asterisk, that will generate, or that seems to generate, this idea of a collection. Okay, and a collection, like I've said before, is one of these OData V4 primitive types. So it's something we need to sort of embrace and get used to. So let's just have a final look at this. Products, that's all fine. Same thing, we've got a navigation property here, but this time, because it's a product has one category, it's a one-to-one relationship, there's no collection of this type, it's just a single type, right? It's a single thing, right? And suppliers got a navigation property, but that one supplier has more than one product, so there we got the collection to products. So, already we're seeing not only what CAP is doing for us, but also some of the beautiful simplicity, I think, of OData V4. Yes, we should diff the generated V4 and the original V4. Yes, okay, let's do that next time. Let's do that next time. Remind me. We should do that. Be interesting to see if the diff will be messed up by maybe a different order of entity types and everything. But I think we'll try and get around that. But that would be a really cool thing to do. The difference between the OData V4. Are you talking about the difference between the generated OData V4 from CAP and the Northwind OData V4 in the actual Northwind service, as in this thing there? If you are, then I think that'd be a really cool thing. I mean, if we do a textual diff, the order of the attributes will be, will have an effect. But I wonder if we can sort of canonicalize this. I wonder if there's like an XML diff. Thank you, Robert Dino. You will remind me. Awesome. Anyway, the last thing I want to do before we hit the hour, I can't believe it's already an hour, is I want to bring in, let's kill that, git clone. Let's just go, where was it? Q macro north there we go, Northwind data. Clone or download. Let's clone it. There we go. Fine. Git clone that. Oh, let's go into temp for a second. I'm not sure. Git clone. Paste it in. Temp. Where is it? Northwind. Oh, there it is. Northwind data. Perfect. Okay, that's great. So let's go back. Oh, what was the no, cd local project EP72. What do we call it? EP72 project. Let's go to serve external make dir data. So we got to have a data directory here, and then bring in copy temp Northwind OData into data. And it just so happens that I've created these with a lowercase Northwind categories project CSV. I think that should be it. I mean, this is just normal stuff, right? And I've not done this sort of explicitly for this purpose. But let's have a look. There we go. There we've got this. I've got a CSV sort of rainbow thing. And this is my modified version of the data, because the data when I first got it from somewhere else, it had commas in the product name, so it was messing up the CSV import. So let's just do that now. So if we do now a CDS watch again. Oh, am I in the wrong? Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Let's see what happens. There we go. Filling Northwind categories. Blah 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 blah. Perfect. And so finally, as the final thing, categories. There we go. Not only that, does this work? Expand equals products. Oh. More haste, less speed. There we go. So I think that's a good place to end. You know, we're taking our time. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks, CD. Oh, CD dash. Ah, yes. Thanks, Christian. Yes, I think you're right. Thank you for joining. Have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to the next Friday. We'll carry on with this. We'll take our time, dig in a little bit more to OData. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks for joining. Bye for now.